Very, very good evening. Sunday, the 24th of May 2026. My name is Raj Amir. This is a Recusant 9 transmission. Thank you very, very much, first of all, to all of you who've supported the Crowdfunder for the legal action. We have now got past £75,000. It's a remarkable amount of money. The target for me was always, if I could get £20,000 towards it, I'd worked out I could remortgage my flat for the rest, which was another £80,000. So to get to £100,000, which is what I would have needed. So the fact that we're at £75,000 with time to spare is, I'm not sure what to say. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. I will probably try and increase the target, but don't worry about that. And just see what more we can raise in the lead up to the Crowdfunder sort of formally closing in, I think, 11 days time or so. So thank you. It's something else. Very good evening. I'm just looked across and I saw your name pop up, Julie, and I don't know why it's doing that, so let me just fix all this. Every now and then when the software gets updated, it plays around. So here we go. Julie, of course, has had some great news this week. She's finally got her land back. Some idiot tried to steal some of her land that her father had left her, and she ended up having to go to court and everything now, wasn't it? So it's a traumatic time for you, Julie. So, but well done for your perseverance. I know George would be chuckling. He'd be very, very proud of you. So well done to you. I had a great birthday. I went to Nando's. Me and Eve went to Nando's, and I think she bought me a hoodie. So she managed to take her mum shopping, I would imagine, and bought me a hoodie. I was going to wear it today, but it's too warm. It's absolutely too warm. Not that I'm complaining at all. So there is that. Now, I just want to clear something up before we start. I need to bring something up to clear something up, I think. Give me 1 second. So, I think it was on Wednesday. I put something out, Tuesday, day before the council meeting on Wednesday. I put something out on Facebook that I was going to go to Royton to record a video. Royton's one of the towns that make up Oldham Metropolitan Borough. There's Royton North, Royton South, the 6 councillors there. And I was going to go to Royton, but I'd had one of my migraines. I was in a bad way. But I still went there and put a video out. And I made a mistake on it that these people have jumped on. So I think the mistake I made, I need to clarify. What I'd said was the independent candidate, Maggie Hurley, the Royton independent candidate, Maggie Hurley, had entered into an alliance with Cameron Goffaw, where she was running for deputy mayor as a consequence in exchange for supporting Cameron Goffaw. That was inaccurate. What the truth was is that she was actually backing she'd nominated, she'd been one of the proposers and the seconders. I think she'd been the seconder of the person actually nominating the deputy mayor on Cameron Goffaw's team. It was the Lib Dems who've entered into an alliance with Cameron Goffaw, and Helen Bishop is her name. So these people jumped on it, and the fundamentals are still the same. Maggie Hurley has got in bed. This is a Royton independent, a white Royton independent, has got in bed with the Pakistani sectarian Oldham group. Now, instead of accepting that fact, they created this poster, and it's involving a man called John Hughes. John Hughes won't stand to be a councillor himself, and I'll let you decide why he won't stand to be a councillor himself. So he works behind the proxies of Maggie Hurley and his daughter Jade Hughes, and they put this out. And apparently they do not support a Muslim-only cemetery, and the Royton Independents voted against this the last time. Yes, they did vote against it the last time, but this time, John Hughes Maggie Hurley. And look at what they've said here. Fact, this claim is completely untrue. Councillor Hurley has not been offered the position of Deputy Mayor. No, Councillor Hurley is proposing or seconding the actual position of Deputy Mayor on Oldham Council of the representative of the Oldham Group Coalition. So it's the coalition that the Pakistani sectarians lead. Now, the Pakistanis, there are plenty of Pakistanis in this town who are increasingly unhappy with me and trying to portray me as a racist. Well, listen, you scroats, right? You are the fucking racists here. It's a Pakistani sectarian political party. The chairman is a Pakistani. The leader is a Pakistani. The deputy is a Pakistani. Pretty much everywhere they put up candidates are Pakistanis or those who suck up to Pakistanis, such as Maggie Hurley, who sticks her tongue, metaphorically speaking, between the butt cheeks of the Pakistani sectarian leader Kamran Ghaffar. Is that clear enough for you, Maggie Hurley? Yes, Maggie Hurley, you are propping up or attempting to prop up Kamran Gaffar's bid to be leader of Oldham Council. And the consequence of him being leader of Oldham Council is the promotion of his priority policy, which is a Muslim-only cemetery. Now, you can say you will vote against it. Last time you voted against it, and you do not support it. We do not support a Muslim-only cemetery. It's fundamentally different to we will not be voting for a Muslim-only cemetery. They're not one and the same. And what is also not one and the same, Councillor Maggie Hurley, big team Hurley, what is not one and the same is that you know full well that the Oldham Group's signature policy is a Muslim cemetery, yet you are prepared to try and vote in the Oldham Group to take control of our town. The filthy Pakistani sectarians who rely on an Islamist voter base, further separating our town. And before anyone criticises me, that isn't just my position, it's actually the Labour Party position on the Pakistani sectarian Oldham Group. So that is not just my position. So big team Hurley, put all your posts out. Get this racist scrote, and that's what he is, John Lawrence, some racist scrote. Get him to post, Raja Mia is a snake. Listen, lad, what I am is something that this town did not have before I came along, and that's people with a bit of backbone who knew how to manoeuvre around a council and remove the Labour Party control of this town from 47 to a minority number of 18. So that's who I am, lad. The likes of John Lawrence, and you see him here, John Lawrence, the likes of John Lawrence, he's got this UK housing party or something. Essentially, they're a bunch of anti-Semites. You know, the proper old-fashioned right-wing, Jew-hating. They're basically a bunch of anti-Semites, anti-immigrants, and he got, what did he get at the local elections where he stood in Oldham? Was it 58 votes? So if the Royton Independents want to get in bed with the far right, genuine far right, or the Jew-hating far right that these people are, go right ahead. But the truth is the truth, and the fundamental fact I was trying to communicate on behalf of the people of the town. If you saw me in Royton that evening, and a few of you did, you will have seen the state I was in. No, Denise, he didn't get 89. I'm 100% certain he didn't get 89. It was in the 50s. If you saw the state I was in, you'll know I wasn't well. And you jumped on this like a gotcha sort of moment. No, there was no gotcha here. What happened here is fundamentally Maggie Hurley is in bed with the Pakistani sectarian Oldham Group and was due to vote with them on the deputy mayor and then to vote with them to support them to become the leader of the council, which would mean the sectarians would run the council. Now, if I am not telling the truth, ask her. If I'm not telling the truth, have a look at the actual documents on the council's own webpage. Let me see if I can find it. Just give me 1 second. Let me see if I can find this. Agenda and minutes. Council. I can't bring it up. It's messing around, I'm afraid. Let me see if I can do it a different way. Yes, thank you, Prav, for 58 votes. Yeah, that's what he got. Agendas and minutes. It's important, sorry, just bear with me. I want to show you this if I can bring it up and then you see it yourself. It's just not loading the page, that's all. Yeah, you can see yourself. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to load this page. What it will show you, and you can go on this page yourself, if you can get it to work yourself maybe afterwards. What it will show you 100% is Maggie Hurley was seconding the mayor. Here we go. Amendment, election of mayor, deputy mayor, PDF. There you go. Moved by. Here you go. Come on, big team. Where are you, big team? In bed with the Pakistani sectarians. Moved by Maggie Hurley. And seconded by Councillor Aisha Kauza. Aisha Kauza is the deputy leader of the Pakistani sectarians. In bed with the Pakistani sectarians. There you go. People of Royton, you know, and some of you scumbags, because that's what you are. Some of you are absolute scumbags. Ooh, we've got him. We need to quiet him. We need to silence him. You won't show your faces. You've not shown your faces for 10 years, 15 years. Hide behind a keyboard on Facebook, typing away. And sorry, Pravda, I'm not on about you. I'm on about some of the community groups there. Because this is nothing other than an attempt to stop me from campaigning because of nothing other than old-fashioned, green-eyed envy. Get off your ass and fight for the places you call home instead of fighting against me. Under what circumstances is it acceptable for a Royton independent leader, Big Team Maggie Hurley, to vote for the Pakistani sectarian choice for mayor, first of all, which she did, And had the meeting continued, she was actually moving. She was the person who was presenting Helen Bishop. And this is an alliance between, well, you know what the alliance really is? The alliance is pretty much nothing other than an anti-reform alliance. That's what it is. They hate reform. Well, I'm sorry. 13 of the 20 wards, Reform won outright convincingly, and they lost in one by 2 votes. And they polled strongly in the other wards, including the inner area wards. In Medlock Vale, they got over 1,000 votes. So what you now have is white councillors from the Conservative Party, white councillors from the Liberal Democrat Party, and white independents from Royton, Maggie Hurley, and Jade Hughes, although Jade Hughes didn't vote for some reason. What you now have is they are working together with the Pakistani sectarians, with their Islamist voter base, whose number one priority is a Muslim-only cemetery, and they're willing to try and put Cameron Gafford, this is a HMO slum landlord, currently being investigated by the Health and Safety Executive after his building collapsed, and a damning statement from the council itself towards Cameron Gafford. So there's no need to, say I've said something, a damning statement from the council itself. And these people would put Maggie Hurley and her like would put a Pakistani slum landlord from a sectarian outfit with an Islamist voter base in charge of our town just to spite reform, which is what the majority of this town in the tens of thousands went and voted for 2 weeks ago. And what we have is a genuine far-right scumbag from a party with really vile views calling me a snake. I might be a snake, mate, but at least I have a wash. I don't even think she's doing it for money. I honestly believe Maggie Hurley is doing it just to spite the people of Royton because they voted reform. And they are indeed traitors, Stephen. So, I hope I have made myself clear. And of course, Maggie Hurley, just name the place. I'll bring my camera and I'll come and interview you. Come on, big team Hurley. You can't, can you? Because you can't speak for yourself, can you? Because Big John has got to speak for you. I saw you make reference to him needing a wash, Denise. Jenny, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to, I think, go and buy myself another phone. Put a SIM card in that we just use for these transmissions. And we'll do a phone in. Every one of you filthy Pakistanis who want to call me a racist, and that's why I'm calling you filthy. Not because you're Pakistanis, but because you're filthy in the way you go about trying to attack me. Let's have you on. We'll do a call in. We'll do a phone in. Let's see how it is I am a racist. I'm not the one who's running a Pakistani political party in Oldham. where membership at its highest level is restricted to members of the Biradari. Am I? No. Yeah, we'll have a phone in. We're going to move on to that right now. They won't comment on here any more than they will phone and speak. They just hide behind their keyboards. They just hide behind their keyboards. With the, you know, they all have like avatars with cars and things like that, or a Palestinian flag. If you are finding value and you are new to this, sticking her tongue between the Maggie Hurley, Councillor Maggie Hurley, proverbially, metaphorically, sticking her tongue between the butt cheeks of Cameron Gaffer is an image I want you to take some time imagining. The people of Royton, when that tongue is stuck way between his butt cheeks, that's you. That's a representation of you and your relationship with the Pakistani sectarian political party. And that is Councillor Maggie Hurley. And I've just evidenced that. Of course, it wouldn't be so funny if it wasn't so serious. It wouldn't be so funny if it wasn't so serious, because I am fundamentally opposed to a Muslim graveyard. And I'll go into specific reasons as to why later on in the week. But I am genuinely, fundamentally opposed to a Muslim-only cemetery, because I believe, in the end, it creates more division. And allowing a political party whose number one policy is to deliver a Muslim graveyard, supporting a political party such as that, even if you claim you don't support the number one policy, politics doesn't work like that. You don't support a party into power whose number one policy is, for instance, promoting trans and allowing biological males to use female children's toilets, and say, oh, no, it's okay, we don't support that particular policy of theirs, but we support them. No. It doesn't work that way. And I wanted to, bring some humour into it. I wanted to bring some humour into it. Picture it. Where is he? Where is Ali Akbar, the cartoonist? On a picture of Maggie Hurley, a cartoon, with a tongue wedged between the Oldham groups, some sort of metaphor of a big sort of butt cheeks. Maybe, Wernerth and Alexander, or Wernerth and St Mary's, Glodick and Wernerth as their two different butt cheeks. And Maggie Hurley with a tongue that says Royton on it, wedged right between those two spaces. Let's move on to something serious. I, of course, live in Tameside, which is neighbouring to Oldham, and they attack me. I don't live in Oldham. There's a very clear reason why I don't live actually in Oldham. Because if I was to live in Oldham, my house would get burnt down. You've seen what happened in the lead up to these elections. Even amongst themselves. Shahbam's mother's house, there was an arson attack. The police have done nothing. They won't do anything because they're neck deep in this. Even Josh Charters' car, I think, got blown up. I would be attacked, which is why I live in a nearby place. And I say nearby as in I could step from the border of here into Oldham. In fact, there are parts of I can probably get to Oldham Centre quicker than other parts of people in the borough of Oldham, but they like to pick on me for that. But I want to talk about a story in Tameside. Now, 18 of the 19 wards up for election in Tameside were took by reform in Tameside. Absolutely smashed it. Even where I live in Mosley, which is historically a very liberal sort of place, you know, lefty liberal sort of place. Even here, reform took the seat. Apart from one ward, which was St. Peter's ward, were Labour held. And I want to talk to you about a story that finally made the news this week. And it's been bubbling away for some time. And I'll bring it up. You know my friend, he's my friend, a man called Liam Billington. So this is what Liam Billington put up on the 3rd of May. So a lot of people have been claiming the story belongs to them or all of that. It doesn't. The story belongs to Liam and Councillor Khalil Khan, because without Liam Billington, who's now no longer a councillor, and Khalil Khan, this story would not have come out. On Friday, and this is May the 3rd, you can see, May the 3rd. On Friday, Councillor Khalil Khan and I visited Ashton Police Station to verify claims made by Tameside's Labour Council leader, Councillor Eleanor Wills, in the Manchester Evening News. So claims actually in the Manchester Evening News had published them, that she had reported us to the police for spreading misinformation. We can confirm that these claims are false. The police informed us that no complaint has been submitted against either myself or Councillor Khan. So I'll stop there. What this demonstrates is the Manchester Evening News' complicity with the Labour Party to attack the political opponents of the Labour Party. Running with a story reporting that the police were involved when the police actually weren't involved. If you're following the Manchester Evening News now, you will see how it's essentially become a propaganda arm for Andy Burnham. It always has been, but it's been ramped up in a way it hasn't operated ever before. This isn't a newspaper. It is the attack dog of the Labour Party, the Manchester Evening News. We did record a longer video. However, in light of recent revelations reported by the Tameside correspondent that one of the fake independent advocates had stated that her friend did not sign the nomination forms because she is a woman with learning difficulties, we have decided not to publish the video in full. This decision was taken to not cause any further distress to this woman, as well as her friends and family. It is clear that Tameside Labour have preyed upon a vulnerable disabled woman as part of a desperate campaign of dirty tricks to maintain control of the council. We are seeking a full clarification from Labour's candidate Ataul Rasool, his election agent and Tameside Council's deputy leader, who is legally responsible, Councillor Andrew McLaren, and Atta's employer, Angela Rayner MP. If she wishes to be Prime Minister of this country, will she now disavow her candidate and member of staff? And will Councillor Eleanor Wills now apologise for her misleading statement? Although Khalil's politics and mine are very different, and so I'm clear I have no time for Khalil's politics, it is the Pakistani sectarian politics using the Gaza stuff. Although Khalil's politics and mine are very different, we share a fundamental belief in protecting democracy. Further information has since come to light and we are currently in the process of verifying it before submitting a complaint to the police. So this is May the 3rd, and what Councillor Liam Billington, ex-Councillor Liam Billington, is making reference to, of course, is how one of these candidates in St. Peter's ward in Tameside had no knowledge that she was a candidate. She was put forward, fabricated, her details were fraudulently used to put her down on the nomination paper. And this is the nomination paper, as you can see. Her name is Marie Fairhurst, and she was, name of assessors, proposers and seconders. So you only now need 2 people to become a candidate. You used to need more. Anwar Afzal and Sarwar Samina. Samina Sarwar and Afzal Anwar. So these are the proposers and seconders of Marie Fairhurst. It appears, according to Liam, and I've checked it in the national press as well, Marie Fairhurst is a woman with with some form of learning difficulties. Not a candidate at all. Someone put her name forward fraudulently, and using Marie Fairhurst, the intention was to split the vote that would otherwise have gone to Reform. However, they did not stop there. They also put a fake Muslim candidate forward. I don't think he's a fake Muslim. I don't even know if he's imaginary, he can't be. But they put a Muhammad Ali forward as well, which is the same as John Smith. Now, as Liam described it, and so there's no ambiguity. This is people, someone asked me earlier who these people are. The people circled are the seconder for Marie Fairhurst, Anwar, Abdul Qudus Sahi, and Afzal Gondal, proposer and seconder for Muhammad Ali. And you can see them all. So the people who proposed and seconded these 2 fake candidates are at the Labour Party launch event campaign for Ataul Rasool, who's at the front. It's crazy, isn't it? So that's who that is. That's who these people are. Let me share with you my analysis of that, and some of you may have seen Alex Phillips have me on now a second time now. Alex Phillips has had me on, so we're doing okay, I think, with Talk TV. So she had me on for a second time, this time for a significant segment, a 15-20 minute segment, and I went into detail of how this form of electoral fraud operates in the Biradari system. Although I have to be honest with you, I have never seen fake candidates put forward. I've seen candidates run who were nothing other than complicit in trying to split the vote. So I've seen candidates come forward from one clan trying to split the vote to keep someone else out or someone else in. I've seen that. But before this time, I'd never seen candidates presented on a ballot paper who were completely unaware that they were candidates and their information was used falsely. I've never seen that before today. It's completely unprecedented. And Liam, to his credit, called it out. The Labour Party went to the Manchester Evening News and tried to bully and harass him, saying the police were involved. And of course, the police historically work in partnership with the Labour Party in Tameside. But this is what Liam did. And Liam has been falsely accused before by the police. But this is what Liam did. Watch.
Hi there, I'm Councillor Liam Billington and I'm here with Councillor Cleel Khan. Now you may have seen in the Manchester Evening News that Councillor Eleanor Wills... Hi there, I'm Councillor Liam Billington and I'm here with Councillor Cleel Khan. Now you may have seen in the Manchester Evening News that Councillor Eleanor Wills, the leader of Tameside Labour, has reported both myself and Councillor Khan for misinformation. Now we've just come out of the police station to ask if those claims are true, and they have told us that no complaint or report has gone in against myself and Councillor Khan. Now why would Labour do this? They want to try and crush this story, to try and cover their own tracks. This is dirty campaigning. Do not let them get away with it.
So that isn't actually dirty campaigning. It's far worse. It's unlawful. It's illegal. And it appears the questions go all the way up to Angela Rayner. Because the candidate, and one, Angela Rayner is the Labour Party MP. Two, it appears that this plot was concocted in her kitchen. And three, the Labour Party councillor now, Atel Rasool, actually works for Angela Rayner directly. So that's what's took place. Just before I share my analysis, if you're finding value in my work, please, I never do this properly. I'm always told off by people. I need to do this better. Promote myself. So please, if you can, sign up to Red Wall and the Rabble. All the work is completely free. You only pay if you want to and can afford to, is what I'd say. Please don't subscribe and support me if it means you're not putting food on your table or not turning your electricity on or anything like that. If you can afford the £3 a month or the £30 a year, please do subscribe to Red Wall and the Rabble. And even if you can't afford that and you have a one-off £3, £5, £1, someone sent me £1 the other day and I was very grateful to them. You can do so by buying me a coffee or just using PayPal. But at the very least, like and share this live transmission. I'm still imagining Councillor Maggie Hurley's metaphorical right-hand tongue wedged between the butt cheeks of the Pakistani sectarians. Big team. Do you think she has a big tongue to go with her big team? These are all jokes. You'll have to have been with us on the journey to understand why we say big team. Okay. St. Peter's Ward in Tameside returned one Labour councillor on the 7th of May 2026. Reform UK took the other 18 seats across the borough of Tameside. That simple, single Labour win now appears to have been manufactured. And the arithmetic is plain. I'll show you the arithmetic so you see it. And those are the results. 2 candidates on that ballot received 291 votes between them. At least one had no idea she was standing. Remove the fakes, and Ahmed Mahmoud, the independent, the pro-Gaza one, actually wins this ward, the election, by 114 votes. The Labour Party in Tameside did not hold St. Peter's. They stole it. And I'm very clear, they stole it because here, let me find it here, look. Here are the people who stole it. They proposed and seconded it. Candidates that did not contest an election, 2 candidates, and one of whom has learning difficulties, who did not even put herself forward to be a candidate. Five people have since been arrested. The Telegraph went with it on suspicion of conspiracy to defraud. Greater Manchester Police confirmed the investigation is specifically examining how candidates were put forward and whether that process adhered to electoral law. Well, I'd like to think a candidate who is put forward knows that they're being put forward, don't you? Greater Manchester Police don't want to prosecute here because they know where the samosa crumbs lead to. They know who the samosa crumbs lead to, because the scheme was conceived inside Angela Rayner's house. There's a guy called Philip Wilson Marks. He has come forward as a whistleblower. He is the former vice chairman of the Ashton-under-Lyne Community Labour Party. So he's a senior, or was a senior member in the local branch. He's the whistleblower at the centre of this. He's on record to say he was approached not once but twice about planting fake independent candidates on the ballot. One of those approaches happened inside Angela Rayner's kitchen. The official line, repeated carefully by every national outlet, is that Rayner was not present during the alleged conversation. That disclaimer does not alter what it establishes. A scheme to commit electoral fraud was being openly discussed inside the home of the local MP and would-be Prime Minister by a member of her own political machine to a party official who found it sufficiently alarming to now go on the record. Wilson Marks identified the instigator as a local Labour, I think he's a councillor, I think I made reference to him as a councillor, but I think he was a candidate, referred to as Vimal. Vimal. And I'm quoting what he said. It's unambiguous. This idea remained important to Vimal. It was central to his tactics. The beneficiary of those tactics was Ata-ul Rasul, Labour's candidate in St. Peter's and a described protege of Rayner herself here. have a look at him. Yes. The selection of fake candidates, 2 names, yeah. The selection of fake candidates was not accidental. Muhammad Ali is one of them, and Marie Fairhurst was the other. They were placed on the ballot to split the vote from 2 directions simultaneously. A Muslim name to absorb defecting Labour voters from the Pakistani community angry about Gaza, so don't go and vote for the Gaza sectarian who is close to winning. Siphon some of those votes, filter some of those votes to this Muhammad Ali. And the white English name was to capture any remaining Labour vote that was bleeding towards reform. The 2 fake candidates pulled 291 votes. Mahmood lost by 177. I still can't believe it. Fake candidates. Presented by prominent members of the Labour Party to a scheme cooked up in the kitchen of the would-be Prime Minister. And these candidates didn't run in the election at all, even at a basic level. Forget putting a leaflet out. Neither candidate submitted a profile when the Tameside correspondent invited every candidate standing to do so before the election. Neither had any campaign presence whatsoever, no leaflets, no door knocking, no posters. Nobody in the ward had seen them. They didn't even turn up to the count. Marie Fairhurst's, this is clearly according to Liam Billington, the identity was stolen. There's no other way of describing it. The identity was stolen. She's a 59-year-old woman, apparently with learning difficulties, who lives in Ashton-under-Lyne, and her identity was stolen. Her name was placed on the ballot paper without her knowledge or consent. And the people who put her name on the ballot paper without her knowledge or her consent are named here. The Tameside correspondent located her. A friend confirmed she had never agreed to stand and no idea her name had been used. Apparently her name might have been flagged up in the council's system because she had been appeared in Tameside Magistrate Court for fly tipping. Marie Fairhurst is not a politician. She is a prop selected because she existed, was findable and was unlikely to notice. Muhammad Ali, well, this is a door nobody has knocked on as of yet. The address of Muhammad Ali, and you can see here again, his address is address in Tameside, so it's not publicly published. He's an independent candidate for St Mary's, St Peter's Ward, Tameside, 7th of May 2026. You can see that here. Well, his address would be a matter of public record, even though it says address in Tameside and it's withheld from this document. The chief executive of the council, the returning officer, would have to have his address. Under the Representation of Peoples Act 1983, every nomination paper submitted to stand for election must include the candidate's full name and home address. The returning officer is then required to publish a statement of persons nominated, which is what I've just shown you. It is a statutory public document. It lists every candidate by name and home address. It is available. The election team hold it. Straightforward. Absolutely straightforward. It exists. The police can just go and get it. Of course, the name Muhammad Ali was not chosen carelessly. It is amongst the most common names in British Pakistani communities. It'll have been done intentionally. So what we have is 3 of the 4 official nominations for both fake candidates. 3 of the 4 official nominations for both fake candidates were linked to the campaign launch of Atal Rasul. Here he is, there. When local journalists visited the home of Afzal Anwar, who nominated the fake Marie Fairhurst, they found a campaign poster of Atta ul-Rasul in the window. The people who put fraudulent candidates on the ballot paper were the same people publicly backing the Labour Party candidate those candidates were designed to protect. Cooked up in Angela Rayner's kitchen, with individuals at the launch of the official Labour Party candidates campaign. Why is this not headline news? Tell me, why is this not headline news? Not just one story here and there. Why is this not non-stop being reported on the... Why has Angela Rayner not been interviewed formally? Because there's more to it than just a conversation in Angela Rayner's kitchen. There is a WhatsApp trail. The scheme didn't emerge from a single conversation in Angela Rayner's kitchen. Internal messages were circulated in Labour-connected WhatsApp groups discussing the fake independent tactic before the election. When other members saw the messages, they were deleted immediately. Instructions followed: do not discuss this on this forum. So what we have here is evidence deleted from a platform used to coordinate an election. This isn't the behaviour of someone who believed they were doing something lawful, is it? Was Angela Rayner a member of those WhatsApp groups? Who else in the machinery of the Labour Party in Tameside was a member of those WhatsApp groups? How many people should be, at the very least, interviewed by the police? You know, if you followed me, that this is not an isolated act of individual corruption. This is the Biradari network, the Pakistani Biradari network, operating as it has always operated, using the structures of democratic participation as instruments of control rather than representation. St. Peter's is a ward where Labour's hold depends on managing the Pakistani community vote through kinship networks. When that vote fractured over Gaza, the machine faced a genuine threat. Mahmood was a credible independent candidate drawing real support from within the community. When I say credible, what I mean was he existed and he knew as a candidate. Labour's response was not to offer a better candidate or address the concerns of voters. The response, and Labour can say what they want on this, I think it's very clear that those who, at the very least, who were representatives of the Labour Party, involved in the campaign of the Labour Party, their response was to manufacture competition that did not exist, using names chosen to mimic the demographic identity of the actual opposition to dilute votes that could not otherwise be suppressed. It's the same logic that runs through postal vote harvesting, through through candidate selection, through family block votes, the sectarian votes, the Biradari stuff, through the intimidation of independent community figures who step outside the approved structure. This is the same logic that runs through all of it. The Biradari system does not lose elections. It does not lose elections. It engineers results. And when engineering through legitimate means fails, it engineers through fraud. And this is a type of fraud I have never previously seen. Of course, it goes with the territory that Councillor Khalil Khan, who managed Mahmood's campaign, he had his property attacked. That shouldn't surprise anyone who's familiar with this. And he is going to challenge what has took place. But the police are now having to be involved. And look, this is the story. Rayner knew in April of election fraud because Councillor Khalil had written to Rayner in April. 5 arrests have been made. The investigation is apparently live. What has not been established is the chain of authorization. A scheme, some clear, a scheme coordinated across WhatsApp groups with nominated backers tied to the official Labour campaign, planned during a conversation inside Angela Rayner's kitchen, does not happen without people in positions of authority knowing it was happening. Angela Rayner's name is on the constituency. His protege, her staff member, is the declared winner. Her kitchen was the venue where the fraud was disclosed to a witness willing to go on the record. She was not present. Yet now we know she knew about it. Angela Rayner was warned about electoral fraud in her constituency more than a month ago and did nothing about it. Ms. Rayner was sent a letter on April the 12th detailing a complaint of election misconduct over claims that fake independent candidates had been entered on the ballot for her local borough council. On Thursday, that's this week, 4 men and a woman aged between 23 and 47 were arrested by Greater Manchester Police on suspicion of conspiracy to defraud. The alleged plot was intended to split the votes of the opposition parties and was reportedly carried out by people associated with Tameside's Labour group, where Ms Rayner, who was Deputy Prime Minister until she was forced to resign, is the local MP. Let me play you something. There you go. You can see him, yeah. There's Atul Rasul next to her. Rayner's got some, I don't know what those glasses are. Samosa time! Give Angela the samosas. Ooh, there she is. Listen. This is electoral fraud of a kind never witnessed before in this country. It's only possible. This brazen technique is only possible because they've got away with other forms of electoral fraud for decades. The Conservatives demanded that Ms Rayner explain all she knows about the alleged plot. Kevin Hollinrake, the chairman of the Conservative Party, said, "Something deeply fishy has gone on in Tameside. I know from experience that the councillors in an MP's constituency are their local organisers and biggest champions, and that they speak constantly. Whilst Angela Rayner has been holed up in her new Hove flat, plotting her Labour leadership bid, serious questions about electoral fraud have been piling up on her own doorstep. Angela Rayner needs to come clean and explain what she knew about these sock puppet candidates." Now, Greater Manchester Police need to interview Angela Rayner under caution for what she knew, as well as every other senior Labour Party figure in Tameside. They also need to interview the returning officer. This would never have come out if it wasn't for Liam Billington. Liam Billington is now not a councillor. He's a Conservative, refused to move to Reform. His convictions are his convictions. The good man, friend of mine, came second, and I hope in the future he finds his way back into politics or back into public service at the very least, because that's what he excelled at. But what you've clearly seen is an example of electoral fraud. And it's going to be very interesting to see how Greater Manchester Police contain it to the 5 they've arrested, and whether or not they interview Angela Rayner under caution, voluntary interview her under caution. The election will likely have to be rerun, but people should be charged. I can't see how people cannot be charged here. The paper trail is clear. People proposed and seconded these candidates who didn't know they were candidates. At the very least, the people who proposed and seconded these candidates need to be charged. That's 4 of them at the very least. And this is something that frustrates me, as it has done with the rape gangs. It's unprecedented what's took place here, Chris. Okay. Hope you found value in this evening. Please, if you are supporting me, and there's 3 or 4 super chats that have come through, I'm going to press one. I don't want to press one. I'm going to have to press one and see if it crashes. So if it crashes, please bear with me, because when I pressed them the other day, the super chats, they were crashing. No, it was okay. It's all right. I updated the software. It's working. So thank you, Natanya. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, Tommy. And Rian, as always, thank you so much. If you are finding value in my work, we've lost, I think, at least 100 paid subscribers over the last few months. So please, if you are finding value and can afford to do so, sign up to Redwall and the Rabble. No one else does this analysis the way I do, and it comes with its own risks. This week I wrote to Manchester Evening News an extensive letter. I'll share the letter I actually wrote later on this week with you, where they were trying to run a smear piece on me. My lawyers contacted Greater Manchester Police, who apparently wanted to voluntarily interview me, and now I've got my lawyers chasing them. They won't respond to my lawyer's email. So I'm dreadings are probably the right word, my home being raided again by the police, which means that then they can circumnavigate doing things properly. And the police have never done things properly with me. They fraudulently and maliciously attempted to prosecute me multiple times, in part because of the rape gangs, and in part because of what I've exposed around the Labour Party corruption that infests our towns, of which you have just seen the Telegraph now report about it in Tameside, where Angela Rayner is the MP. I'm sorry if you're... Has the sound gone? Okay. So it's not me. Okay, thank you. Is the sound gone? Is the sound here? In any case. In any case, or maybe it's, yeah, maybe something's happened with the, just refresh it or something, I don't know. Thank you. I think that isn't me. I think that's something to do with the YouTube stream, I think. If you find value, please consider supporting me. I am going to come back tomorrow on a very serious matter, more serious than this, which is the rape gangs and what's taking place across West Yorkshire, and reform actions, the leader of reform's actions in Bradford. I'm sure he's trying, but I need to call it as I see it, and I've always called it as I see it, seen it, and that hopefully will be taken constructively, and they will understand what they need to do. And this is specific to, well, not specific, but it's of particular relevance to those of you interested in the rape gangs in Bradford, the rape gangs of Halifax, which is Calderdale Council, and also the rape gangs in Kirklees. So there's 3 councils in a cluster around her, where they've all been, all now have significant reform council influence. Bradford, they can run it with the Conservative support. I think they have it outright in Calderdale, and in Kirklees it's similar. What time tomorrow, John? That it's a bank holiday, isn't it? So I'm hoping around 9 o'clock. Okay. But as always, my ability to turn up and depends on whether you find value in the work, because that's where I get my oxygen from. So hopefully you'll like it, you'll share it, and you will help amplify information that we share. If the state had its own way, it would keep covered up. I will see you tomorrow. Good night.
Do not fear them. Do not fear any of them. On the 20th of November 2003, James Ignatius O'Rourke McMahon was elected councillor for the Failsworth East Ward of Oldham. Deeply ambitious, he ruthlessly rose to power, and by 2011 he was already leader of the council. In 2015, exploiting a Labour Party loophole, he became MP for Oldham West and Royton. If only the people of the town knew then what they now know. Do not fear them. Do not fear any of them.